Have you ever heard a lyric and felt like the writer somehow found the note you never showed anyone? That feeling usually doesn't come from fancy vocabulary. It comes from craft. The best songwriters make a listener see a room, hear a line, remember an object, and suddenly the emotion feels personal. This video breaks down 5 lyric writing techniques used by pro songwriters. Concrete details, purposeful repetition, dramatic turns, visual writing, and opening lines that hook immediately. For each technique, the point is simple. Not just what it is, but how to use it in your own song today. Technique 1. Choose specific nouns over generic emotional phrases. Generic writing tells the listener what category the emotion belongs to. Specific writing gives the listener evidence. A weak line says somebody moved on. A stronger line gives us the phone call, the apartment, the ring, the cold coffee, the empty passenger seat. In Adele's Someone Like You, the emotional force comes from concrete life changes. The other person has settled down, found someone, and built a new future. That's more powerful than simply saying, "You moved on." Taylor Swift often does this too. In All Too Well, the details feel like objects pulled out of a drawer. The reason they land is not because they are complicated. They land because they are specific enough to feel remembered. Exercise: write 4 lines about a breakup without using the words love, sad, heart, or breakup. Use only objects, places, and actions. What was on the floor? What did the room smell like? What was still in the car? Specificity creates emotion because the listener gets to discover the feeling instead of being told what to feel. Technique 2. Repeat with purpose. Repeating a line is not automatically powerful. Sometimes it is just padding. The difference is whether each return changes the pressure around the phrase. Think about a title line that comes back again and again. The first time, it introduces the thought. The second time, it confirms the conflict. The final time, it can feel desperate, resigned, triumphant, or broken, depending on what changed around it. Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody uses the repeated call to "Mama" as a vulnerability signal. Michael Jackson's Billie Jean repeats a denial until the denial itself becomes part of the drama. Beginner repetition often sounds like, "I need you" 3 times because the melody needed more syllables. Pro repetition asks, what does the repeated line mean now that the listener knows more? Exercise: choose the strongest line in one song you have written. Use it exactly 3 times. Make the first appearance quiet, the second tense, and the third stripped down. Same words, different weight. Repetition works when it creates development, not decoration. Technique 3. Connect lyric lines with but and so, not just and then. And then give sequence. But and so create drama. One event causes another, or one truth crashes into another. That is where tension starts. Compare these 2 story shapes. We met at a bar, and then we danced, and then we talked all night. That's information. Now try, "I went there to forget you, but your song came on, so I stayed until closing." Same basic world, but now every line turns. This principle comes from story structure, but it is incredibly useful in lyrics. If each line can only be connected by "and then," the verse may be listing events instead of building pressure. Exercise: take your last verse and write "but" or "so" between every line. If the connection feels impossible, the line may not belong yet. Rewrite until each line creates a turn or a consequence. Lyrics do not need constant plot twists. They do need movement, but creates friction. So creates momentum. Technique 4. Show the feeling instead of naming it. Show, don't tell gets repeated so often that it starts to sound empty, but for lyrics, it means something very practical. Do not tell me you are lonely. Show me the second toothbrush still in the cup. Do not tell me you are jealous. Show me the thumb hovering over a profile picture at 2 in the morning. Adele's Hello works because the phone call is an action. Frank Ocean's Pink plus White works because the sky, the drive, and the city create a mood before the song has to explain it. Naming an emotion can work, but if every line names the feeling, the listener has no image to hold. Great lyric writing gives the listener a little movie. Exercise: write 8 lines about missing someone without using miss. Lonely, empty, hurt, sad, or heartbroken. Only show the evidence. The unused coffee mug, the extra space on the couch, the song you skip before the chorus. When the image is right, the feeling arrives by itself. Technique 5. Make the first line do real work. The opening line sets the camera angle. It tells the listener where we are, what kind of trouble we are in, and why they should keep listening. Strong openings often begin in the middle of the moment. Bohemian Rhapsody opens with a question about reality. Billie Jean opens with a denial. Hello begins as direct address. These openings create a question immediately. A weaker opening explains that a story's about to begin. It warms up before anything happens. In a song, that is dangerous because the listener can leave before the verse reaches the good part. Exercise: take an unfinished song and delete the first line. Replace it with the most specific moment in the story. Not the backstory, not the summary. The moment, the key in the door, the name on the screen, the jacket still on the chair. Your first line should make the listener ask, "What happened?" The real power comes when these techniques stack. Imagine a verse that starts with a sharp opening image. The next line turns with "but." A specific object reveals the emotion. Then the chorus repeats one sentence. But each repeat lands differently because the story has changed. That is how simple language can feel deep. The writer is not trying to sound literary every second. They are controlling attention. What the listener sees, when the listener realizes it, and which line returns at the exact right moment. Try this mini framework for a new verse. Line 1, a specific image. Line 2, a but turn. Line 3, a consequence with so. Line 4, one repeatable sentence that could become the hook. Do that and you will already be writing with more structure than most unfinished songs. Here is the checklist. 1. Replace generic emotion with specific nouns. 2. Repeat only when the repeat changes meaning. 3. Use but and so to create tension and consequence. 4. Show the feeling through actions and objects. 5. Make the opening line start in the middle of something specific. Before your next writing session, pick one technique, not all 5. 1. Use it on purpose. Then listen back and ask, did the lyric become easier to see? That question matters because listeners remember pictures faster than explanations. If you want better lyrics, do not start by trying to sound more poetic. Start by becoming more observant. Write down the object on the table, the sentence somebody avoided, the street you kept driving past, the exact thing that proves the feeling happened. That is where strong lyrics begin. So pick one technique from this video and use it in the next song you touch. Then come back, try another one, and keep building. Now go write something specific.